I call this a termite bond, or flood insurance, if you will. This is not about what the simulator is going to bring to us. It's about what it's going to prevent us from losing, which is huge. A joint simulator facility at Birmingham Airport. Housing a KC-135 and a CH-47 simulator simultaneously. Joint use. There is a lot of security with the word joint. Okay? We're going to have Army and Air both together. A little bit more specifically, this is what the complex would look like. There are some added benefits to having the simulator out there in terms of jobs. Take a look at this. You got about 16 jobs that would come with those. The pilot positions on those would be about $120,000 a year paying jobs, civilian jobs, and also maintenance techs to keep those things running. Approximate cost of this type of facility is about $3.5 million, and that is to house a KC-135 simulator, a CH-47 simulator, and a boom operator simulator that goes along with the KC-135. The 117th already has the boom simulator on the base, and we're operating it in a facility out there right now that could easily be moved to a newer facility. Now, the capital investment information that goes along with that. After 2 years of operation, with all the folks who are coming into Birmingham and the economic impact it has, in 2 years' time it will have paid for itself and then some at $4.8 million. There will be a lot of folks who will be coming into the state of Alabama, into Birmingham, spending a week doing their sims, going downtown, eating dinner, enjoying the entertainment and so forth, the great city of Birmingham, to get their training done. Okay, for the folks that have been out to the base, and first of all, we'd like to invite anyone to come out for a tour. We do those quite often to make you intimately familiar with what we're talking about here. But as you come in the front gate, there's a section of property right here on the left-hand side that we're primed for that. This is property that the facility could be gifted right to the Alabama Armory Commission, and we would not even have to deal with the Secretary of the Air Force, who is leasing all this property down here. The Adjutant General, who lives right here in the state of Alabama, can make that decision and approve that without any problem. Why Birmingham? As any good realtor will say, location, location, and location are the three most important things. That's exactly what it's all about. A regional accessibility for the warfighter. It's a data-driven solution I've talked to you a little bit about already. We are the largest unit in the world for KC-135 pilots that does not have a sim, bar none. There's nothing to add to that. Also, we're the only one that has a total force association with our regular active duty folks that does not have a sim. And also, just to bring folks up to speed, back in 2014, when we came to the Birmingham Business Alliance, there was amongst the civic leaders and Birmingham businesses a pledge for $5.6 million back then to do exactly what I'm talking about here. Often or rarely do you ever come to the table and say, hey, the price has gone down to 3.5 and the number of simulators has doubled. But that's exactly the situation that we have here today. To put it in perspective, I've talked a lot about pilots and simulators. Well, where are they located? Everywhere you see one of those little squares, there's a unit that flies KC-135s. Back to the unquenchable thirst for air refueling. That's why they're placed all over the United States. The places that have the circles is where a current simulator resides. The double circles is where there's more than one simulator residing. And we're trying to influence the decision of the Air Force and with the Air National Guard to be able to place the next or the next after that simulator in one of these two places right here. This would put 132 pilots within driving distance to a simulator and 115 up here near Kansas. And you can see that they're pretty much saturated up here in the Rust Belt, but there's a great case to have that move down here. Our congressional delegation is leveraging very hard on the Secretary of the Air Force and Air Mobility Command commander to make those decisions happen. And that's all I got. And I'm willing to entertain any question you might have, sir.
Can you go through the capital one more time? What's the capital required? And did I understand, Colonel, that that's all been pledged by the BBA, or
no,
is there a shortfall?
There is no pledge at this very moment at this value. The document of 2014 of 5.6 is still out there, but it was the position of the BBA to want to refresh this and get some more players on board that were not a party to it back in 2014.
So is a key component of getting the simulator having the funding pledged to pay for the building?
Absolutely.
Or do you have to build the building before you can find out if Is it a chicken and egg? What's the chicken, what's the egg?
It is a chicken and egg situation. I will tell you, if you have plans for it, that's good. If you have it funded, that's better. If you have it built, that's the best. There's no doubt about that. And it also becomes a factor in the evaluation of Air Mobility Command. They have already factored into to this equation the fact that Birmingham, the city of Birmingham, is behind us and has already showed up in their business case analysis. And that's why when I said it was a data-driven solution, that's why it's already on the table, because of the 2014 pledge.
So how do you get from where we are today to the BBA being able to have the pledges in hand? I mean, what's the holdup on soliciting pledges?
Do you want to speak to that a little bit?
Oh, there's Rick. I was gonna.
Where's your 5.6, Rick?
This is Rick Davis, Senior Vice President of BBA.
Thank you, Commissioner.
I know the commissioners know it, but I'm not so sure everybody else.
Let me start with a little bit of context. Aviation in Alabama dates back to 1910. That was the day that the first Wright Brothers Aviation School was established in the U.S., and it was in Alabama. You fast forward through the 50s and the 60s and the 70s and 80s up to today, there's a pretty good aerospace and aviation history in this state. So we understand, and I speak for the BBA and the business community, we understand the value of what the Sumter Smith Air National Guard Base brings to this community. For that reason, we are very much in support of any initiative that can be put forward that will help Colonel Grant and the rest of his team get that $3.5 million to make this happen. And so that's where our status is. And Elizabeth, do you want to chime in on anything that I've had? Elizabeth Hall is our Governmental Affairs Director for the BBA, and Wayman Jackson is our Senior Vice President for Public Policy and Governmental Affairs. And Wayman, you want to add to what we've done so far and where we are now?
Good morning to the commission. But one of the things I think that we began discussing yesterday is how we can leverage private community to actually do this and pull this together. As the Colonel said, we know that our congressional delegation, they're leveraging their resources very well to make sure that we're in a strong position to be able to do this. But going back to 2014, I think you had the BBA stepping up and saying that some of what we wanted to do was to actually be able to talk to the local community and show the actual value in this project. Also began looking at who actually utilizes the customers of the 117 and letting them understand the impacts that if this is not here, what that actually means to our community. So our executive leadership team is fully around this initiative to make sure that we're putting the community in this way.
So, I guess, how does the ball move forward? What's the impetus to make this happen, Ray?
Wayman, you want to take that?
Yeah, I think some of it hinges on getting the community partners together. One of the things that we're leading on right now is getting as many people out actually to the site as possible. There was a briefing that we pulled together a week ago where individuals from the county, city, congressional delegation, airport authority were all invited in to see this briefing. The Colonel and his team have been going around making sure that everyone is aware of the information that you all have in front of you now. So the next step for us is actually getting to the point of starting to pull together a smaller committee of those stakeholders that can begin the conversation around making those pledges. And truly figuring out how this can be something that's private-led first.
Any other commissioners have a question?
Colonel.
Yes, sir.
The F-35s that are gonna be stationed in Montgomery, will you all be a part of refueling those new?
Absolutely, absolutely. As a matter of fact, if you notice what my lead-in slide here actually showed, and we like to showcase this, and it is basically the red tails. We refuel the red tails all the time. We drag them all around the world. We like to project Alabama, and just like the gentleman was saying, we project Alabama with aviation because a lot of aviation firsts happen here in Alabama. And that's a tale that is noticed around the world, but absolutely be part of that, especially as they bring it on board. This is going to complement. As a matter of fact, the timing on this is absolutely perfect. The F-16s are timing out, the F-35 got brought on board, and as a matter of fact, then as they come on board, then we can really start shifting that focus to replacement tanker and keep the aviation team that we have in Alabama.
And there was a big push to get the F-35s here, and we went out over, I think, Jacksonville and maybe somewhere in Wisconsin.
Quite a few.
One of two bases, right?
Exactly. As a matter of fact, we may be able, in the position to bring it on board even sooner than programmed, because some of the other sites may not be ready in time. So Alabama is always postured in a front-leaning stance to be able to take on what's new in aviation.
I missed the F-4 taking off and just rattling the windows.
Well, she's not sexy, but she'll get you there, I'll put it that way.